You can spend a whole bunch of money in Maine on different traveling needs and have a horrible time, or stay in Maine cheap and have a great time. Either way. Good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is, whatever you're doing, care as long as you're healthy and staying healthy. I am the Mainly Digger. It's definitely summer in Maine, and this video is about how to visit Maine cheaply, how to be a tourist in Maine and not spend a bunch of money, and also just some of the food. I talk about food. This is how this video got started. I was thinking about my childhood, what food I grew up with when I lived in Maine, and that's kind of how this started. And so we're gonna go over food first because that's important. Understand that I'm not a true born and bred Mainer. So some of this stuff it's just stuff I grew up with. Maine's very regional when it comes to foods. And I'm going to go over some of the best beaches in Maine, in my opinion. And these beaches are the beaches that I've been at. I go over some ocean beaches and some lake beaches, freshwater beaches. And the state parks. Information. And there's so many lakes, there's over 100 lakes in Maine, and there's so many different state parks in Maine. Narrowed it down, and it's pretty much what I've known or seen firsthand. Not cheapest, but the best places to stay at for what you want out of Maine. And that is what this video is about. How to visit Maine cheap, be cheap. You can spend a whole bunch of money in Maine on different traveling needs and have a horrible time, or stay in Maine cheap and have a great time. Either way, Maine is one of those states you can do for very cheap, and that's why I love telling people about Maine, because especially Maine in the summertime, because it's such an interesting state. Okay, Maine is great, very cool. Mainly dig out. Watch my video, please. So the first thing we're going to talk about is traditional Maine summertime food that I grew up with. Idea of what type of food is summertime food in Maine, because of where they grew up, the region they grew up. Like on the coast, you're gonna have more like clams. So I'm just gonna go over a couple of things I grew up with, I guess, in the summertime. Moxie. Moxie is every day. Moxie is not seasonal. Moxie, if you don't know, is a type of soda that at one time was brewed in Maine. We Mainers claim it as our own. There used to be a Moxie festival in, I think, Lisbon Falls. It's an acquired taste. I love it. It's an odd soda. It tastes like medicine, and a mix of medicine and syrup. I can honestly say I've never bought Moxie, but it's like every summer party I went to as a child, like there was always Moxie there. Now we're moving on to red snapper hot dogs. They are hot dogs that they're in a red coating. They have a certain smell. They are different. I don't care where you go. Out of the state of Maine, like, you cannot get these hot dogs. I've looked. I've been to Texas, couldn't find them there. They have they always have hot dogs in some red coating or outside, whatever, but it's not the same. They don't smell the same. They don't taste the same. There's a certain these red snapper hot dogs have a certain taste to them. The bun that it goes on, I forgot exactly what it's called. It's not a regular hot dog bun. It's like a roll. I think it's like a split top roll. Like when I first came to Maine, and that first summer I had one of these, I was like, what? This isn't a hot dog. And like, it's a hot dog. Shut up and eat it, kid. But it's just different. There's no other place I've lived has these hot dogs. Along with the hot dogs, it's always the same meal. You have Boston baked beans. And it's either a home recipe that someone's grandmother made or mother made or whoever made, and it's absolutely delicious. It's like they're family recipes, really, or just the regular baked beans, Boston baked beans out of the can, warmed up. I don't know how it became a summer tradition, because that's more of a heavy thing, a heavy, it's heavy, like it's very heavy. But summertime, every summer. And of course, there's lobster rolls. There's the lobster roll festival in Rockland. Not having it this year. Whatever. A little sensitive about that. Or as they call them down further in the state, south in the state, bugs. Lobster is Maine. Maine is lobster. A true Mainer will never give up his lobster dealer. True story. Especially in like the we're not going to talk to an out-of-stater about who we get our lobster from. Fiddleheads. Straight up fiddleheads. Fiddleheads are baby ferns. That's what they are. You pick the fern, you pick the fiddlehead at a certain time of the year. You pretty much fry it in butter. And not fry it, you don't fry it. It's like you pickle them. There's a lot of butter and salt involved. They're not the healthiest. Some people swear the healthiest thing you've ever eaten. They not the healthiest. Actually, I've had them in northern Michigan and in Maine, but I first heard about them in Michigan, and they are like they're a Maine delicacy. Next one, blueberry pie. See, apple pie is more like fall and winter time. Blueberry pie is summertime 100%, or early fall, but summertime definitely. Blueberries in Maine, I think I read somewhere that Maine provides 90% of the United States blueberries. Blueberry pie in Maine is huge during the summer. I can't think, there's not one summer in Maine that I've had that I've not had a blueberry pie. And here's the last, there's so many more, but here's the last one. Whoopie pie. Every state has its own name for them. It's another food Maine has claimed. We will fight over this. In Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Dutch said, hey, we made it. Mainers are like, no, it's our state food, our state dessert. We'll break some bones over this. They have actually another festival that they have in Skowhegan, or Skowtown, is the Whoopie Pie Festival. Not having it this year. Thank you, Corona. I had one. I'll put a picture in here. It's like cake on the outside and frosting on the inside. Or like my favorite, by far, my favorite is brownie on the outside, and then like a peanut butter chocolate frosting on the inside. It's absolutely delicious. They're not healthy at all, and probably will kill me at some point, but I don't care. So I'm going to start off with saltwater beaches in Maine, and by far number one is Reed State Park. Not only is there a mile-long beach, but there's overlooks that overlook the ocean, and you have a variety of different things that you can do. You can go exploring around the rocky coastal parts. This bridge is amazing, especially in low tide. I would suggest this park and beach, which is Reed State Park, just if you didn't catch that. And if you have children, this is a great park or beach to bring your kids to. My next highly suggested beach / park that you bring your family to is Popham State Beach and Park. This is Popham Fort. It's just amazing. It's fun to explore for kids, and it's free. That's what I like. It's free. The state park is in Phippsburg, which is the best representation of a small coastal town. Popham also has it's very historic. It's a very historic site. Not only does it have Popham Fort, it is also home to Fort Baldwin, which is just fun to explore. This is my last suggestion. This is Old Orchard Beach. I don't go to this place during tourist season, but it's still an amazing location. It's still an amazing beach.
Everyone loves the pier at Old Orchard Beach. It is also a huge tourist trap, but it's still gorgeous. It's just an amazing spot. I'm going to start off with Long Pond Beach, mostly because I just did a video there yesterday. So in this video, I'm metal detecting, obviously, or talking way too much. What I'm trying to show is that the water is clear, or what I'm trying to show now is that the water is so clear, and there is a sandy bottom, which is awesome. This beach is in Belgrade. It is a public beach, and it's more of a local hangout, and it's where the townies go, which is cool. It's quiet. The only thing I did not like about it is that it's between two private houses. So, like, my kids are loud when I take them to the beach because they're having a good time. So I would suggest that if you go in there, you're going there to have a quiet time. As you can see, it's not like your typical beach where there's sand that you can lay out, but the town does keep it up. I'm going to add these two in as one because they're pretty much a mile apart. Peninsula Park, very small. It's a local hangout. Locals go there to go fishing. I mean, you can go swimming there, but there's not a beach at all there. Another amazing beach or amazing lake is Sebago Lake. I've only been to the beach at the state park, and I'll cover Sebago State Park later, but it's amazing. Naples Beach is amazing. The lake is a fairly large lake, and it reminds me of the Great Lakes, like camping on the Great Lake. Webb Lake has an amazing beach. It has a little hut that has a campfire or a fireplace in it. It's made of stone. It's real cool. I couldn't find a really cool picture. I think it costs like $4 to get in. There's over 100 lakes in Maine. There's so many different public beaches that you can go to and private beaches that you pay to go to in Maine. So if you're interested, just look online. I would suggest, if you're coming to vacation to Maine, to get a cabin on a lake. Find the cheapest cabin on a lake that you can. Because anyway, like, it's still fun. Like, it's still a good time. It's still lake life or cabin life, whatever you want to call it, beach life. It's still a good time. But if you're trying to do things on a budget, you get a hotel room and then you find a public beach to go to, and you can still have the beach life or lake life. So if you're traveling to Maine and you want to do it on the cheapest way possible, I would suggest looking at different campsites. There are state campsites that are fairly cheap, and I'm just going to cover the state campsites. There's other private campsites that you can go to where you have to be a member, and you pay into it. Or you can go on public land like a paper mill property or logging property and just rough it. But the state camps are the best way to go because their facilities are top notch. They're cleaned, they are healthy, and they're just clean. That's what I like about them. So my top pick for this would definitely be Sebago State Park. It's mainly because it's very clean. I've stayed there before, and it's right on the beach. It's also kind of central to all the tourist traps. So Portland, Freeport. It's if you're staying there, it's the hub for southern Maine. That's what I'm getting at. And it's like 40 something per night. That might be the veteran price, but it's beautiful and it's well kept. My only complaint is everybody goes there and it fills up fairly quickly. So the next state park I'd like to talk about is Baxter State Park. I would suggest, if you love the outdoors and you want to get away from I would call it the modern camper, I would suggest going to the state park. There's multiple different locations to go, multiple different campsites, and it's the only issue is that it's all outdoors. It's all porta potties. So I've never experienced this state park as a camper, but I know it's for the outdoorsman. Let's just say that it's not for the modern camper. There is I know there's a lot of outhouses and there's no showers or shower facilities. I lived in the area, and so I didn't really have to go camping, so I just hiked the trails. This state park is huge. So, and there's a lot to explore. It has 3 different trailheads leading to Mount Katahdin, and which is a part of the Appalachian Trail. It's just gorgeous. Like, if you are the outdoors person or outdoorsy, go there. This is a spot you definitely have to plan. You can't just be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna, camp at this spot. I'd say at least 3 weeks of planning and an understanding of the outdoors. They do have cabins that you can stay at that you order. I've just never stayed at the cabin. Our next one is Rangeley Lake State Park. Just a gorgeous lake. Rangeley Lake, or the Rangeley Lake region, is just a gorgeous region of Maine. It's the western part of the state. It is absolutely gorgeous. The state park itself has around 50 campsites right on Rangeley Lake. It's gorgeous. It just smells, there's a whole bunch of pine trees around there, so it just smells like pine tree. Also, during the winter time, it's on Rangeley Lake is around Saddleback Mountain, so there's a lot of skiing in the area. It's expensive to ski in Maine, but it's a nice adventure, nice to go check out. Rangeley Lake also has some of the best fishing you'll ever catch. Land lake salmon. I've personally caught a land lake salmon out of this lake, and guides are cheap, probably $100, $50 to $100 a day, depending on who you talk to. Mount Blue State Park. If you love climbing, Mount Blue State Park is the best place to go. This is taken from Webb Lake. I mentioned it earlier. Amazing beach, and it's a clean campground. But you camp on Webb Lake or around Webb Lake, and then you go hiking. That's what you do. So you have Tumbledown Mountain, you have Big Jackson, Little Jackson mountains, and there's so many trails. Hiking, like I said, if you love hiking or you love mountain climbing, this is what you do. Also, Tumbledown Mountain, amazing. I've mentioned it in my past videos. It's an awesome hike. There's also trout in this lake, and Weld Lake and Weld, the town of Weld is nearby. That has a lot of trout, amazing trout fishing. My last suggestion, and to end this video, is bring the appropriate clothing. If you're going hiking, just look into hiking clothes. Also, wear a change of clothing and layers, because it's cold in the morning, hot in the afternoon, and then it drops again in the evening. So also sunglasses, sunscreen, a hat. You don't need a boonie hat or a dorky looking hat like I have, but it works and I like it. Bug spray, definitely tick spray or something to ward off the ticks, because there are ticks in Maine and there are bugs, black flies, and all the things that bite and leave bite marks. So hope you enjoyed my video. Mainly dig out.